Immediately gets it off to Cody. Breaks it down court, 3-on-1 to the lane. Elevates and slams with two hands. Buffalo thrill Cody down the lane for the... Well, a heck of a play by the McDonald's All-American Cody Williams with a two-handed flush. Buffs get the victory over the Idaho Gales here at the Event Center back in the Buffalo Stampede. Voice of the West, Mark Johnson, my partner, Scott Wilke, former Buff great. That was kind of a pretty play, wasn't it?
That was really impressive. Right down the middle, get out of my way. They better not try to block that shot.
Scott said on the radio broadcast, every once in a while he does something that makes you understand why he's an NBA player. Let's go back to the game before we start talking about some of the individuals still. It was, I like the word that Tad used on our radio postgame on the Colorado Basketball Network. It was a workmanlike effort for the Buffs.
Yeah, I mean, Colorado's honestly a better team than Iona, and they played like it most of the game. Iona had their moments, but Colorado did what they had to do to get the win.
Yeah, Buffs were coming off that 77-71 loss in the championship game of the Sunshine Slam to Florida State. I'm not sure this was kind of the energy we were kind of hoping to see after a ball game like that. You wanted to kind of come out and see if they're a little angry and want to kind of take it out on Iona, didn't you?
Yeah, sometimes those losses kind of stew in you for a couple days when you have those days off, and hopefully that was what happened with Colorado. You thought they might come out with a little extra energy. It wasn't quite there at the beginning, but they still did what they had to do.
The Buffaloes end up shooting 61% in this ball game. Last time they did that was that NCAA tournament game against Georgetown when Jabari Walker went off. That went in Indianapolis back in 2021. At this point, we're 6 games in. Can we say Colorado's a good to great offensive team?
Yes, they've shot like it for most games. Florida State, a game aside, they're really good offensively. I think that they're looking for a little more consistency still. We still see a little bit of up and down play. Hopefully they get more consistent as the season goes on.
They do move the ball very well. Colorado came into this ball game averaging about 20 assists per ball game. They had 16 or 17 in this one. That's one thing I think this team might be better than any team that Tad's ever had in terms of passing the ball.
Well, they're unselfish and they share the ball. That makes them so much more difficult to guard. And today, the concerted effort was get the ball in, kick it out. We saw that multiple times today, something that was missing against Florida State.
So the Buffaloes get the win over the Gales of Iona here at the Event Center. And afterward, we heard from head coach Tad Boyle.
Yeah, workmanlike effort tonight, against an Iona team that, has a bunch of tough kids. Their coach is tough. Obviously, he was at Farley Dickinson last year, went on and beat Purdue in the NCAA tournament, so he knows what he's doing. They got some good individual players. Obviously, I think our depth warmed down a little bit, and offensively, you shoot 61% from the field, you feel pretty good about things. So it was a great night, from that standpoint. And once we strung together stops in the second half, we blew the game open. But we talked about, I was like a broken record at media timeouts about stringing stops together, because we would get one or maybe get two, and then they'd score, 4 times in a row. We talked about it at halftime. They came out of halftime, scored out of, I think, 5 of their first 7 possessions. So once we figured that out and we made that happen, we got the game under control. But a lot of good things out there, 5 guys in double figures and some good individual performances. Overall, I was pretty pleased. Well, obviously, they had a great win against Creighton. Creighton is a legitimate top 10 team. They can really, really score the ball. And, their defense, I watched the game. Their defense was rock solid. Obviously, Isaiah Stevens is one of the best guards in America. That to me, he doesn't get any national acclaim, and he should, because he's a terrific player. They're tough. They're well coached. If you look at their offense and their efficiency, not just against Creighton, but every team they've played, CSU's they got good players, and it's not going to be easy going up there. We know the environment's not going to be easy, but then playing Colorado State and the players that they have is not going to be easy either, because they are laying in the weeds for us. I know that. I know what we're heading into. Now it's our job as coaches to make our players understand it, go up there, play with poise.
There's head coach Tad Boyle after the Buffaloes get the victory over Iona, improving to 5-1 of the Young Seas. Now we got the Rams of Colorado State coming up on Wednesday night. This team, I thought it was a nice bounce back for Tristan Da Silva. He didn't have his best game against Florida State. He really came out, I thought, was more aggressive, in particular in the first half of this game.
Yeah, Tristan had 6 turnovers against Florida State, didn't get double figures. They need him to be an all Pac-12 player. He showed that early on today. Came out of the gate more aggressive, shot the ball very well today.
We talk about the fact they had their 16 assists in this ball game. Eddie Lampkin only ended up, I think, with 1 when it was all said and done. Probably should have had 5 or 6. Guys were missing shots out there. When you've got a big guy like that, because Tal likes to work inside out with his offense, when you've got a big guy like that can pass the ball the way Eddie does, that really helps the offensive flow.
Yeah, when you watch tape, you see when ball gets inside the big man, the defense really collapses. A lot of times there's 5 guys in the paint, and there are multiple guys out. So if you kick it out, you get really good shots. Whether it's off penetration or feeding the post, kickouts are there and available.
Yeah. Off the top of this segment, we saw the dunk by Cody Williams. He wows you on occasion. 6 games in, the McDonald's All-American. What are you thinking about it? What did you seeing from this game that maybe you didn't understand before he got here?
There's no question the talent is there. The talent is there, the length, the size. And what I like is he's been unselfish. He hasn't asserted himself overly, but what we're seeing is him doing a little bit more each game. And every once in a while, you and I turn and look at each other because he makes a play that most 6'9" players in the planet cannot do.
Yeah.
And he did that today down the middle on the 3-on-2 break.
They also had a little alley-oop that he didn't dunk. He caught right on the rim. It was a tough, very athletic play just to get it up there, and he scored a bucket. He adds a dimension as well, because I think, last year you look back to it, and KJ was the guy that could create shots. Cody can do that as well. Buff's getting ready now to go up to Fort Collins on Wednesday night. That place is going to be on fire.
It'll be full, it'll be loud, and they don't like Colorado. There's always that in-state rivalry thing, and it'll be interesting. They've had the better team they've had probably in a few years now, so Colorado better be ready to go.
Yeah, they're coming off a big win over number 8 Creighton over the weekend. That's Scott Wilke. I'm voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. That puts a wrap this week on the Buffalo Stampede. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next time.